We're going to begin by sharing the screen. Let me know if the screen is visible, okay? If you can see the screen, just write a message, or you can speak if you can. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so now starting with Microsoft Excel, here we have the course on Microsoft Excel. We're gonna go step by step and demonstrate each step in this course, okay? So starting with the content, we will begin by an introduction, and then we're going to talk about some general stuff on Microsoft Excel, and then we're going to see tables in Microsoft Excel and how they are handled, and then finally we're going to talk about functions, which is the main feature in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so beginning with an introduction, Microsoft Excel is a software from the Microsoft Office suite of products. Okay, we have Microsoft Office. We have the main products in Microsoft Office are Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. There are other products in this suite, but they are not as widely used as those three. Okay, so the purpose of Microsoft Excel, it is primarily used for calculations, spreadsheets, and to organize tables. Okay? Now, to open Microsoft Excel, you either double click on its icon or search of it's not the F is a mistake, or search for Excel in the Windows Explorer menu and click on it once. Let's demonstrate this now. For example, let's go like this, like so, and then let's double click on the icon in the desktop. We have to double click, and now Microsoft Excel is open. Okay, notice here we have multiple options. We can open already existing files by clicking on this open right here. We can select whichever document we want to open, or just create a new document, a blank workbook like so, or simply choose whichever one of these shortcuts available on the home tab. Okay, we have the ability to open recently opened documents, or open a new blank document, or a blank workbook, as it's called. Okay, now the second way we can open Microsoft Excel is we go to the Windows Explorer menu by clicking on the Windows key right here, or clicking the keyboard, clicking the Windows key on the keyboard, and then we can search for Excel. Okay, notice here we have Excel. We can just click on enter, or just click on it once and it opens just the same. Okay, now we're gonna select a blank workbook, and now we're gonna return to the course and see what we have. Okay, so okay, so here we have some general stuff. Excel shares many similarities with Word. What we mean by many similarities with Word, notice here we have almost the same options as we do in Microsoft Word. For example, I can write any text, for example, like so. I can make the text bold just by selecting the text and making it bold. I can make it italic, underlined, and so. Okay, I can change the font size like so. I can decrease the font size also, and we can also bring the text to the center, for example, or to the right or to the left. Okay, so many similarities with Microsoft Word. Okay, there are the main options are all there. Okay, so let's return now. When clicking on a single cell, you select the cell. Simply, self-explanatory. Okay, if we click on a single cell, we select the cell. Notice when clicking anywhere on Excel, I select the cell on which I'm clicking. Okay, self-explanatory. Now, the rows are designated by numbers and the columns are designated by letters. Okay, notice here we have the columns by letters, the columns, column A, column B, column C, column D, E, F, G, and so on. Okay, and the numbers represent the rows. First row, second, third row, fourth. Notice now by clicking on the letter representing the column, the entire column is selected. Okay? And same with the rows. Whenever I click on the number representing the row, I select the entire row. Okay? So, moving on. We've seen this just now. When you click on the letter designating a column, the entire column is selected. Same with the number designating the row. Okay? Here is the interface of Microsoft Excel. Now, notice the similar layout and options with Microsoft Word. Okay? We have many similar options. Doesn't mean that everything is similar, but many things are. Okay? If you click and drag across the canvas, you will select multiple cells, like so. For example, let's try this one here. If I click and then drag across, I select multiple cells, like so. Okay? Now, moving on. If we click on this icon right here, it merges the selected cells into a single large cell and places the cursor at the center. What we mean by that, let's try it. Let's select multiple cells, like so, and click on Merge and Center. Okay? Merge and Center. Here we have a single large cell. Okay? And notice the cursor itself is in the center. Okay? The cursor meaning where we write. It is in the center. It is no longer in the right, because this option is called Merge and Center. Okay, we can also go back to the previous state by clicking this arrow right here, or, for example, clicking on Control plus Z. Okay, Control Z. Like so. Okay? Now, we return to the course. Here we're going to talk about tables. To create a table in Microsoft Excel, we first select a bunch of cells, and then we click on the Borders drop-down menu. We select all borders. Okay? Let's try this one. A moment. Just a moment. Okay, so let's try it. Let's try to create a table. Okay, so let's try to create a table. We select a bunch of cells and then we click on this drop down menu representing the borders, okay, and we select all borders. Okay, now each cell will have all of its borders on the four corners. Okay, now for example, I'm gonna give you an example. If for example I wanted to enlarge a row as per the others, for example, I can drag the row right here or drag the row from the right side like so. Now we have an enlarged row, an enlarged column, an enlarged column, and same thing with the row. I can select the row and resize it like so. Okay, here we have a table. Now we can use the merge and center, for example. Here we have a single cell. Okay, you can create your table as per your needs. You can resize the columns like so by clicking and then dragging across. Okay, and same thing with the rows. You can click on the number representing the row, on the edge of the number representing the row, and you can resize as you wish. Okay, let's go back now like so. Here we have a simple table. Okay, let's go back to the course. We can resize rows and columns by clicking between two rows or columns and then dragging up or down in case of a row and right or left for a column. Okay, self-explanatory as we have seen earlier just now. Okay, same example. This is an example representing the resize function on Microsoft Excel. Okay, so now moving on to functions. Functions are used to calculate stuff, for calculations. Okay, any arithmetic operation in Excel should be preceded with an equal sign for it to be calculated. What we mean by that, for example, I'm going to give you an example after we finish this section. If there is, for example, if there isn't an equal sign before an arithmetic operation, it will be treated as a regular text. Okay, for example, the expression 9 plus 2 written in a cell stays as it is. It won't change, it won't be calculated. Okay, however, the expression equals 9 plus 2 gives you 11. The arithmetic operators are plus for addition, minus for subtraction, and star sign for multiplication, and the slash for division. Let's try, for example, a bunch of arithmetic operations. For example, let's remove this table here. Let's go to borders and click on no border. Okay, now for example, just a moment. Let's say, for example, I wanted to calculate 9 plus 2. If, for example, I click on a single cell and then click on 9 plus 2, if I click on enter or I move to a different cell, notice 9 plus 2 stays as it is. But for example, if I wanted the result of the arithmetic operation 9 plus 2, which is 11, I should prefix this arithmetic operation with an equal sign, okay? An equal sign meaning I want you to calculate the result of the following arithmetic operation, okay? For example, now let's go with 9 plus 2. If, for example, now I move to a different cell, notice the content of the cell changed to 11 because now when I prefixed the arithmetic operation with an equal sign, Excel considers it as an arithmetic operation and it calculates it and gives us the result in the same cell. Okay? Is it clear? Is it clear or do I need to repeat?
It is clear.
Okay. So moving on, for example, let's try a bunch of other arithmetic operations. For example, let's go with for example 6, and now we have 11, and now in this cell what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on equal, and then let's go with the cell containing the first number, which is C5, okay? C5. Notice here it highlighted the selected cell, the cell which contains the number, and then now let's multiply it with 11, which is in the cell G6, okay? G6. Okay? Now, it should give us 66, okay? It gave us 66. Now, notice here I referenced the cells containing the numbers. Now, the arithmetic operation goes as follows. The number which is stored in the cell number C5 multiplied by the number stored in the cell G6, okay? Put the result in the cell number C9, okay? For example, let's change this one to a slash, for example. Let's go with a slash. Notice here I can modify the function by modifying it in the cell or in the f of x section here, okay? Now, let's see what it gives us. It should give us 0.54, okay? It divided 6 by 11 and gave us the result, okay? So, these are just some examples of arithmetic operations. You can just click on this also, go with an equal sign, and then write in the numbers you want to add, for example, or you can just use the cell itself, okay? You double click on the cell and it gives you the arithmetic operation written in the cell, okay? So moving on now, functions. We can insert a function in the cell first by selecting the cell. First we have to select the cell, and then we write the function inside the cell, like for example equals sum of 5 and 4. This calculates the sum of the numbers 5 and 4. Okay, gives us the result 9. We can also, for example, write the function like so. Equals sum b1, d4 and b5, which calculates the sum of the numbers in the cells b1, d4 and b9 and writes the result in the cell that contains the function, like we've seen earlier. Okay, We used the plus sign earlier, but we can go like this. For example, we can go with sum. We write the function and then we choose the numbers, okay? We can choose the number 6 and then a comma. The second number, we can choose, for example, a number that is stored in a cell, G9, for example, sorry, G6, and let's go with another number, which is C5, okay? Now we close the parentheses and it gives us 23, which is 11 plus 6 plus 6, okay? 11 plus 6 plus 6. Now, the reason it changed now is that I changed a single one of the cells, okay? C5 and G6 and G86. Now we can change that by going back and changing the function again, okay? Now notice when I select the cell, it has the number 23, but notice in this f of x section, here we have the function, which is the sum of 6, G6 and C5, okay? Is it clear? We can also insert a function into the selected cell by selecting the cell and then clicking on f of x on top of the Excel worksheet, okay? You can copy the function by grabbing the lower right corner of the cell and dragging down. We're going to see an example of that shortly, okay? The function will then be applied to all the selected cells, okay? For example, we selected the cell and then we clicked on f of x right here. Here we have to select the function we want to apply, okay? And then we fill in the numbers, okay? For example, 5, 2, and so on. And then you click on OK, and the function is applied, okay? Here we have the function and the result, okay? For example, let's see how this is calculated. We're gonna be making this example. We're gonna be applying it in real time shortly. For example, we have the selected cell, and then we calculate. This is to calculate the average or the final grade of a student. For example, we have C2 times 0.25 plus D2 times 0.25 plus E2 times 0.5. For example, this is a practical exam, this is a test, and this is the final exam, okay? Then we calculate the final grade like so. And then we can copy the grades by clicking on copy the function by clicking on the first cell and then dragging across. We're going to see an example of this shortly. Let's make it. Let's go and delete everything. Let's prepare Let's prepare a table. Let's create a table. Final grade, and that's all we need. Okay, so let's go and create a table, all borders like so, and now we have name, we have here we have the remark. Okay, now student A, B, and then we have C, D, E, F, for example, just to give them some names. Okay, now let's give them grades. Okay, 12 and then 10, 7. And for the final one, let's go with 15, 15, and 15. Okay, so now let's select the first cell, and now let's calculate the final grade, which is the TP times 0.25 plus the TD times 0.25 plus the exam times 0.5. Okay, so let's go with the sum of what? Of, for example, B2 times 0.25, and the second number, we just put a comma, and then the second number, which is C2 times 0.25, and then the final number, which is the exam, which is D2 times 0.5, like so. Okay, and now we close the parentheses, and apply the function. Notice here it gave us 9. Now, if I wanted to apply the same function all over this table, I just have to grab the corner here, Here we have a black plus sign. This is an indication that I can just copy the function. I just grab the edge and then drag down. Now, the function here, if I select the function, here I have the 3 cells that are participating in this function. Same with this one, for example. This one also. Okay? Notice now, whenever I click on a different cell from the final grade, notice here on top, this one changes. Here we have B6, C6, and D6. Here we have E7. I apologize. For example, here we have, whenever I click on a different cell, the function itself or the cells participating in the function change. Okay? Here we have B2, C2, and D2. Here we have B3, C3, and D3, and so on. Okay? Okay? So, now let's go back and first, before I move on, is everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so moving on now for the remark. Let's go to the course and check out how this remark is automated also. Okay? Here, if you notice, we have another function which is the if function. The if function is a conditional function. It works with conditions. For example, here we have if and then the condition. After the condition comes the result if that condition is satisfied. And the second one is if the condition is not satisfied. Okay? Let's go with a simple example. Let's go with a simple example. For example, let's go with this one. Let's click on. Let's go with if, for example. Notice here it gives me the syntax if and then the logical test, which is the condition, and then we have a comma and then the value of the cell if the condition is true, and then another comma, the value if the condition is false. Okay, so now let's go with for example, final grade. If the final grade is greater or equal to 10, and then we can write pass, for example. Else, it's fail. Okay? For example, let's go if this cell, which is E2, if E2, the content of E2 is greater or equal to 10, then write pass. Else, another comma, write fail. Okay? And just I have to put these in quotation marks. Okay, notice here we have fail. Why? Because the mark is 9. 9 is less than 10. So it goes to the one that where the condition is not satisfied, and it writes fail. For example, let's drag this across, and here we have pass. 16 is greater than 10, 15 is greater than 10, pass. 6 is less than 10, and then it gives us fail. 13 is greater than 10, it gives us pass. 11 pass. 15 pass. Another 15 pass. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, if you have any problem following along, just tell me and I would gladly repeat. Okay.
Yeah, I think everything is clear.
Okay, so now if you have understood the if function, uh, we're gonna see another special function, which is multiple if functions together or inside one another. Okay, for example, like
Mhm.
this example right here, we have if f3 is less than or equal to 6, write توبيخ. If f3 else if this is not satisfied, if f3 is less than 10, and then write in there. If this is not satisfied, if f3 is less than 13, you write متوسط. Then if f3 is less than 17, you write تهنئة. Else, if none of the others are satisfied, meaning that your mark is strictly is superior or equal to 17, you write امتياز. Okay, let's go and try this one. Okay, here we have as just a simple if function. Now here we're gonna change the test now, or equal to 6, for example. We write we write else. If e2 is less than 10, you write you write in there. If this is not satisfied also, meaning that it isn't توبيخ, or it isn't in there, it isn't less than or equal to 6, and it isn't less than 10, you write, we check, we just put a comma, and then if the grade, for example, which is e2, is less than or equal to 13, for example, we write متوسط. If this isn't satisfied, meaning it is greater than 13, we have 2 more tests to do. Is less than 17. Right, for example, right, جيد. And if, for example, this isn't satisfied, meaning that it is strictly superior to 17 or superior or equal, greater than or equal to 17, we write ممتاز. For example, okay, here we have to close out the parentheses. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4. Exactly. Okay, let's try apply this one, okay, in there, and let's try now to apply it to the other cells here. Look, here we have in there جيد جيد توبيخ جيد متوسط جيد جيد. For example, let's change this value to 20. Here, notice when we changed the value, the function recalculated the final grade, and then by recalculating the final grade, the other function giving us the remark recalculated and gave us ممتاز. Okay? Same thing with the other cells. For example, if we change just a single one of them, here, this one is in there. For example, let's go with this one. For example, let's give a 0, and then here we give a 10. We have a 6, which gives us توبيخ. Okay, now notice how the function is structured. If we have the condition and then the value if true, and then if this one isn't correct, we can just do another test to verify if the grade is less than 10. We write this remark, and then if it's not, we verify if it's under or equal to 13. We write this remark. If it's not, we verify if it's less than 17, and we write this remark. If none of these is correct, meaning that the grade itself is greater than or equal to 17, we write this remark. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so moving on. For the video courses, you can click here. It brings you to the YouTube channel. Okay, this one, we have the playlists, third year courses. This video you will find it shortly here among these courses, and of course I will be posting this course here in Moodle, and I will send it to you via email, okay, along with the Microsoft Word course. Okay, do you have any questions? Any other questions? Yes, it will be included in the exam, yes. But I will be uploading the video on this course, and I will be providing you with the PowerPoint presentation that we were just reviewing from. Okay? So if, for example, I don't know if I can do another session just before the exam. I will try to add another session so we can prepare for the exam. If I can, I will send you the link. If not, I hope everything is clear, and I will send you the PowerPoint courses or the ones containing the materials for the course. Okay? No problem. Okay? And good luck to you.